But welcome everybody. Good afternoon. I'm happy to be live again this week today to talk about Atlantic Canada and what we would recommend to visit if you're coming to visit us. And we certainly hope you do. So my name's Shannon, as mentioned in previous weeks, and I am the area sales manager here in Atlantic Canada. I'm based in the hub of Nova Scotia, which is Truro, and I am absolutely thrilled to be able to talk with my team today to share with you our favorite places to stay and things to do in our provinces. So here with me today, we have 4 agents from across Atlantic Canada. To start, we have Jennifer Mcdonald, who is also based in Truro here with me. Welcome, Jennifer.
Thank you, Shannon. I'm so happy to be here today.
Can you tell us how long you've been in the travel industry, Jennifer?
Of course. So I've been in the travel industry for 16 years, and 12 of those years have been with Sell-Off Vacations.
Amazing. So happy to have you with our team for sure. The next agent we have with us is Kimberly Green from our Dartmouth, Nova Scotia store. Welcome, Kim.
Hi, Shannon. Thanks for having me.
Yeah, no problem. How long have you been in the industry for, Kim? Can you tell our viewers?
Yeah, I've been in the industry about 15 years and almost 9 of them with Sell-Off.
Amazing, for sure. And I know you have such a passion for travel, as we all do. And our next agent here, we have coming to us from Moncton, New Brunswick store, which is Stephanie Halliday. Welcome, Stephanie.
Hi, Shannon.
How are you doing today?
Good. How are you?
Good. Can you let the viewers know how long you've been in the travel industry?
Yeah, so I've been in the industry since 2016 and with Sell-Off for just over 2 years now.
Amazing. Thanks so much, Steph. And last but most certainly not least, we have Leanne Rousel from our St. John's, Newfoundland store. Welcome, Leanne.
Hello, everyone.
How are you doing today?
Doing pretty good today.
Good, good, awesome. Can you let our viewers know how long you've been in the travel industry, Leanne?
Yeah, certainly. I've been with Sell-Off Vacations for the last 4.5 years and working in the hospitality industry here in Newfoundland since 2014.
Awesome. Awesome. I know that you're really excited to share your province with everybody as well as everybody else. So we're going to actually start here shortly, but just a quick note before we get started. Please feel free to enter any questions you might have into the question box on your screen. We will do our very best to answer those live today. We also have Ashley Stamp from our St. John's, Newfoundland store and Mia Wang from our Dartmouth store in the chat function as moderators answering your questions as well. So let's get started. We will keep moving east as we did in the previous weeks during our Canadian presentations. So we're going to start in New Brunswick and work our way through. I have certainly been to New Brunswick many, many times myself, but I can't say I've actually personally explored a lot of the province. Prior to COVID, I had lots of opportunities to visit the ladies in our Moncton store, usually at least once a month. But Stephanie, I can't wait to hear you tell us all about your beautiful province.
Thanks, Shannon. I do miss your little visits up here every chance that we got. So,
me too.
But I'm happy to speak about my home province of New Brunswick and share some tips here with our viewers. So beginning here in Moncton, just a few minutes from where our office is located is Magnetic Hill, it gets its name from the Earth's magnetic field that will pull your car up the hill backwards. It is also home to the largest zoo in Atlantic Canada, the Magnetic Hill Zoo, with over 400 animals, and the largest water park in Atlantic Canada, Magic Mountain, with the Kamikaze, Wave Pool, and Lazy River. There is a boardwalk with local shops and restaurants, a butterfly world, mini golf, and many more family activities. Close to this is the Magnetic Hill Winery for our wine lovers, and the Concert on the Hill outdoor event site. Not far from Moncton is Shediac, home to the Shediac Lobster Festival in July, and one of our most popular beaches, Parley Beach. Parley Beach is the provincial park that is located in Pointe-du-Chien and is most visited with the warmest salt waters in Canada. There are lots of camping sites and cottage rentals available in the area as well.
Okay, awesome stuff. I love Parley Beach as well. I just have a question here that's come in already. Someone's wondering if there is a cost to get into Parley Beach.
So there is a cost. It's per vehicle. It's $13 per vehicle. You can also get season passes. I think they're about $100 as well.
Okay, awesome. I knew there was probably a cost. I haven't been there for a few years, but it's certainly a really, really beautiful spot. I'm a beach lover, so yeah, so I'll let you continue on there, Steph. Thanks so much.
You're welcome. Yeah, that's not too bad for a full carload for
Yeah,
pretty cheap
for sure.
cost, right?
Yeah,
So
absolutely.
So I'm going to continue on to Miramichi. It also has cabin and cottage rentals that are located directly on the Miramichi River and is most popular for its salmon fishing. My favorite thing to do here other than fishing is river tubing. There are 3 outfitters that provide short and long runs depending on the weather and water levels. It's great for all ages, and there is also tubes with bottoms in them for children. A typical run is about 4 hours depending on the speed of the river, but if you want to make it an all-day event like we do, we usually pack a picnic because there's lots of spots that you can get off the river to just take a rest or have a bite to eat. Located just 20 minutes from our capital city of Fredericton in Prince William, New Brunswick, you can take a stroll back in time to the 1800s and visit the historic settlement of King's Landing. Costumed characters will welcome you and depict what day-to-day life was like in the village. The exhibits showcase one of Canada's largest collections with over 70,000 artifacts and tours of the sawmill, blacksmith shop, carpenter shop, several time period houses, and other historical buildings. You can take a horse and carriage ride around the property and pick up a souvenir at the peddler's market. There are many educational programs and day camps for all ages and group sizes. Moving on to St. John, New Brunswick, Canada's first incorporated city on the Bay of Fundy, and the only place in the province that is large enough to accommodate cruise ships. There are more than 100 shops within a 10-minute walk from the cruise terminal, and it also is a connecting point for excursions and other tours in the area. Some of the top attractions in St. John include the Loyalist House Museum, Market Square, the New Brunswick Museum, the St. John City Market, the Reversing Falls, and the St. John Walking Tour. The New Brunswick Museum in St. John showcases exhibits like the Hall of Great Whales from the Bay of Fundy, Birds of New Brunswick, some great school and youth programs, and there's a Discovery Center with touch objects and mini displays on view.
Oh my gosh, that sounds like a great spot. I haven't been to St. John for many, many years, but I did have another question come in here, so I wanted to just get to that before we move on.
Sure.
And I'm actually curious as well, Steph. So another question, the other question that came in is someone asked, what are the reversing falls? And as I mentioned, I'm intrigued to hear what that might be as well.
Sure. So the St. John River drains into the Bay of Fundy, but when the tide comes in, it pushes the river rising as much as 28 feet. And at the location that is known as the Falls, which used to be an actual waterfall 5,000 years ago, the bay tides push the water so that it is actually going up the river, causing the reversing effect that you see today.
Oh, that sounds cool. I'm certainly familiar with the Bay of Fundy here as well in Nova Scotia, but it's certainly amazing to see if you've not been here before as well. And I think we'll touch on that later on for Nova Scotia as well, but that's great. Thanks, Steph.
It is because you can really see the tide coming in. It makes like a whirlpool, so you can really see the difference in the water itself. It's neat.
Yeah, it's really cool.
So.
Yeah, for sure. Awesome. Thank you.
You're welcome. So I'm going to continue on. Not far from St. John, the Atlantic Balloon Fiesta is held every year in September. Located on the fairgrounds in Sussex, New Brunswick, you can take a hot air balloon ride to look over the valley or watch the evening light show that they showcase. There is also activities, fair rides, and local vendors on the ground. Sussex is also home to Polo Mountain for winter ski and snowboard enthusiasts, but they also have a fall festival with hay rides and lift rides showcasing the fall colors of the mountain. Continuing on the southern coast is a little town known as St. Andrews by the Sea. This is my absolute favorite place to vacation in New Brunswick. I had originally fallen in love with this town on a childhood vacation and reconnected in 2014. Since then, I have taken multiple trips every year, and although there is must-do things every time I go, I always find something new to do or see. My must-do faves are beginning my day at the local coffee shop, Honey Beans Cafe, which you can see there on your screen now. I usually spend some time shopping on Water Street and have lunch on the wharf from Lumberjack's Cafe, where they make the best homemade subs. An afternoon drive to Bar Road, where if the tide is out, you can walk the seafloor and visit Minister's Island. The best fish and chips for supper are at the Red Herring Pub on the outdoor patio looking over the wharf and out onto the bay. Some other fun things to do in St. Andrews include the Huntsman Marine Science Center and Fundy Discovery Aquarium. It is a marine aquarium with touch tanks of the seafloor and mini rays. It has a seal enclosure, educational day camps, and ocean awareness programs. I recommend a stay at the Algonquin Resort and Golf Course or at the Rossmount Inn. Also, I would take in a hike on Shamcook Mountain Trail, and a visit to Kingsbury Garden is a must, as they have multiple gardens and art from local sculptors and artists. The historic site of St. Andrew's Blockhouse, and I'd also recommend to stop at the Farmers Market, which is typically open in the Market Square right on Water Street on Thursdays beginning in the long weekend of May. You can also take whale watching or deep sea fishing tours right from the wharf. And for the chocolate lovers out there, just a short drive from St. Andrews, you'll find St. Stephen's Chocolate Museum. It's probably a must-do. It's not that far from St. Andrews, so I definitely recommend the short trip there. And from this area, you can join the Fundy Coastal Drive that will take you on a scenic drive along the Bay of Fundy. Most popular stops on the way are the Fundy Trail in Fundy National Park, Cape and Rage, and Hopewell Rocks. The Hopewell Rocks on the New Brunswick side have the highest tides in the world at 15 meters. You can walk the seafloor and explore the hidden sea caves when the tide is out. I'll let my friend and colleague Jen from our Truro store talk a little bit more about this area on the Nova Scotia side. Hi, Jennifer.
Hi, Steph. Thank you so much. And Steph, I have to say, I'm very intrigued by St. Andrews by the Sea and specifically the St. Stephen Chocolate Museum. So thank you.
You're welcome. Like I said, there's always stuff to do in St. Andrews, and that trip to St. Stephen is just a short little highway drive, so you're there in no time.
Oh, that's on my to-do list. All right, so many people know they can explore the Bay of Fundy and specifically the Hopewell Rocks in New Brunswick, which is a must-see, but I'm also here to tell you that you can witness the phenomena that is the Bay of Fundy here in Nova Scotia. As Steph mentioned, the Bay of Fundy has the highest tides in the world at an average of 15 meters. Just to put this into perspective, worldwide average tidal ranges are about 1 meter. So Truro, where I'm located, is situated right at the tip of the Bay of Fundy, and literally within about 45 seconds from our office, you can witness a tidal bore, which happens twice every single day. A great showcase of the tidal range is about an hour from Truro at Burnt Coat Head. You can literally dine on the ocean floor at low tide, and 6 hours later, where you just sat will be completely covered under 50 feet of water. Where the Bay of Fundy meets the Shubenacadie River, which is one of Nova Scotia's largest rivers, it creates an ideal location for our popular tidal bore rafting. It's basically like a roller coaster out on the water, and it's a great experience, especially with a group of friends and family. Right here in Truro, many people come to visit our beautiful Victoria Park. It's a 3,000-acre park right in the heart of Truro, with gorgeous old-growth hemlocks, meandering streams, and rushing waterfalls. It offers a quiet and peaceful place to explore in all 4 seasons. It's an absolute gem. I've explored this park hundreds of times, but I had the pleasure of hiking it with Stephanie last summer, and Steph, I hope you'll come visit again. The park also has a children's playground, splash pad, and swimming pool, and if you're able, I would challenge yourself to climb the 175 steps to the top of Jacob's Ladder.
Steph, do you have anything to say about Victoria Park? You might just have to take yourself off mute, but I'm sure you probably had a great experience there.
I did. I was kind of overwhelmed with the size of it. I was not expecting it to be that big, and the trails just like there's lots of waterfalls and there's inclined trails as well as flat trails. So there was definitely a lot to see there at Victoria Park.
Yeah, it's for all, basically for all,
Mhm.
you know, age ranges really. And there's,
Definitely.
I also just quickly want to mention, since we're talking about that, there's also a bike park up top of Victoria
right.
Park.
Yes.
It's become quite popular. It's called the Rail Yard, and there's just so many different bike trails, and you know, hard to beginner level. So you know, it's certainly quite the destination, and something that a lot of people and our viewers probably don't even know about. So, and it's hidden right here in the middle of Truro. So
Yeah.
we're very lucky to have
We're
it here.
We're so lucky to have it here.
Yeah,
Yeah.
for sure.
Yeah.
Sorry, Jen, let you continue,
No.
but I just thought we could certainly add a little bit more to that.
Perfect.
Thanks.
So beaches are especially important to me, and you'll find that no matter where you are in Nova Scotia, you're typically no more than 60 kilometers from one or multiple fabulous beaches. Not too far from Truro, a few of my favorite beaches would be Five Islands, Melmerby, and Rushton's. I'm going to move south to our capital of Halifax, which is a beautiful city with something for everyone. So first off, when you arrive in downtown Halifax, you need to get your hands on a donair. They're delicious. Next, I would highly recommend taking a stroll along the Halifax waterfront. You can visit the Maritime Museum of the Atlantic, which houses artifacts from the Titanic, or visit the very popular Halifax Seaport Farmers Market, which has over 250 vendors. You're going to want to stop at one of the many outdoor patios for a refreshing drink. And in the summer, the lower deck is the place to party and offers live entertainment every night of the week. A short drive from the city of Halifax is where you'll find Peggy's Cove and the most photographed lighthouse in the world. While here, you can also pay respects at the Swiss Air Memorial Site. There are also many beaches within the Halifax region worth mentioning. So Lawrencetown Beach is especially popular for surfing. Queensland Beach is known for the warmest water temperature. And just a few hours drive from Halifax, but well worth the drive, you'll find Carter's Beach, which literally looks like it was pulled off of the shores of a Caribbean island and plopped here in Nova Scotia. With its white sand and crystal clear water, it's absolutely gorgeous.
Yeah, I'm just gonna step in here because I'm certainly a beach lover, and you will see my background here is Carter's Beach. Actually, that's what I chose for my background today. I just discovered it myself a few years ago. It used to be a hidden gem, actually, and I'm not saying it still isn't, but it's become much more popular over the last few years because of social media. Lots of shares of the beach, because when I first stepped foot on it, I was in awe because I didn't know such a beach existed in Nova Scotia. The white sand itself, but then I dipped my toes in the water and it's quite frigid.
Yes.
It's on the side of the ocean that for Nova Scotia that's very cold. In Truro, we're located on the side where the waters are warmer, the northern side. So the beaches that we get to here are much warmer and more swimmable, but certainly worth the visit to Carter's Beach. It's stunning. It is hard to get parking, so just be prepared. You might have to walk a little bit to get to the entrance, but definitely you should add it to your list this summer or another summer if you can. It's stunning. I can't say enough about it. Love it.
Wonderful. Thanks, Shannon.
You're welcome.
All right, so my next recommendation would be about an hour north of Halifax, where you can start to explore the Annapolis Valley. So for any wine lovers, please consider the Magic Winery bus tour, which is a hop-on, hop-off, double-decker bus operating out of Wolfville. I love the town of Wolfville, and I would recommend booking a night or two at a local inn or bed and breakfast so you can take in more of the local sites and the local restaurants where they pride themselves in creating dishes made with local fresh produce.
Jen, I'm going to step in again just because I've been on the Magic Winery bus a few times. Have you actually been on the bus itself?
I have not been on the bus.
No.
I absolutely adore the town of Wolfville and that area. So
have you toured any of the wineries?
I have toured a few of the wineries,
Okay.
and you know I appreciate a good glass of wine. So.
I do. No, so I'll just quickly talk about that because I've actually been on the winery tour bus I don't know how many times, a few for sure. Let's say 3 or 4 for sure in the past, probably 7 or 8 years, but usually try to get there once a year down that area. I love Wolfville. It's just so beautiful. It's also on the Bay of Fundy, and there's so many wineries, and they're literally all within about a 5-minute drive from each other. So that's why they're able to do this Magic Winery tour bus. Obviously, it's changed a little bit since COVID. There's less numbers that they can put on the bus, but I do believe it's still operating this summer with limited numbers. But we have Luckett's Vineyard, which is owned by the famous Pete Luckett. They actually have a phone booth at that vineyard, like a British style phone booth, which you might see in the pictures here. But prior to COVID, you were able to make international calls on at that phone booth, which was pretty cool. There was no cost. It was free or whatever it might be. So it's a really cool experience there. The views are phenomenal from there as well. Then another winery we have is Grand Pré. That one's been there for quite some time. Mercator is one of the newer ones over the last few years. Lightfoot and Wolfville, excuse me, one of my favorites. The views there is spectacular as well, and it's made out of like really old wood, and it's just awesome. Benjamin Bridge is one of the newer ones. I know they've been making wine for quite a few years, but they just recently opened up a vineyard last year or the year before. It's definitely become one of my new favorites. And then a smaller one is Gaspereau. And again, they're all within 5 minutes of each other. Definitely worth a visit. You know, you can do the tour on your own as well if you can limit yourself with the tastings. But there's lots of different options, and I just want to quickly mention too that I usually stay at a hidden gem, I call it, is called Roselawn Lodging, and I'm not sure if I should even tell everybody about it because I find that it's a great price point. It's actually the next driveway up from the Lightfoot and Wolfville Vineyard, which is awesome. But it's just some motels. They've they keep them up really well, and there's some apartments in behind as well. You can rent 2 or 3 bedrooms. So there's an outside pool on site, tennis courts, I think. So it's a great little spot to stay as well. And there's lots of Airbnb. Yes, yeah, so lots of Airbnbs and bed and breakfasts as well to choose from. So highly recommend you visit Wolfville if you're in Nova Scotia.
Definitely. And Shannon, I just need to add that some of the best skins and nachos I've ever had in my life were at Joe's. So you need to eat at Joe's in Wolfville.
Awesome. And the other thing is there's a new brewery there in the last few years, and I haven't had the opportunity to visit it yet, but it's called Church Brewing. And it's actually a brewery that they've taken over at this church, and there's a nice little patio out front. They become very popular. It's a cute little spot. I've seen it from a distance. And also there's a cidery on the main street in downtown Wolfville as well called Annapolis Cidery. So lots of different places to see there, little shops and stuff. It's a really great spot to visit.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
All right, so let's move on to a few hours from Wolfville where you can reconnect with nature at Kejimkujik National Park. Here you can camp, canoe, and hike, and it's also a stargazer's paradise, having been designated as a dark sky preserve in 2010. Next, we'll move further east, stopping in my hometown of Aniganish. So the Aniganish Highland Games Festival takes place every summer in July, and it's the longest running Scottish sports festival in North America. You'll get to experience events like the caber toss, Highland dancing, and my absolute favorite, the piping and drumming performances. While you're there, you have to grab a slice of my favorite pizza at the Wheel Pizza and Sub Shop. It is mouth-watering, cheesy pizza made with the freshest ingredients, so please stop in. Aniganish County is also home to a few of my favorite beaches, so Bayfield and Pumpkett Provincial Parks. From Aniganish, we're going to head to Cape Breton Island. Cape Breton is attached to mainland Nova Scotia by a causeway. I'm sure many of our viewers have heard about the Cabot Trail, which is considered one of the world's most scenic destinations. I would highly recommend taking at least a few days to travel around the Cabot Trail. Take your time, stop, and take as many pictures as possible. It's beautiful any time of year, but the most vibrant when the colors are changing in late September, early October. While you're there, you have to stop at the Coastal Inn and Pub in Aniganish for the Ringer Burger. Some would say that this is the best burger in Nova Scotia, and I would not disagree. There's also a gondola, the first of its kind in Eastern Canada, being built in this area. Once complete, it'll take visitors to the top of Cape Smoky, where they'll have breathtaking views of Aniganish and the Northumberland Strait. By now, you've probably noticed that the beaches are a common theme for me, and a few of my favorites on Cape Breton Island would have to be Inverness, Aniganish, and Point Michaud.
Amazing, Jennifer. Sweet little Clay there in the background, her son.
Another beach bum.
Yeah, naturally.
Yeah.
I'm also a beach bum, and I just wanted to quickly tell everybody what my newest hidden gem is in Nova Scotia that I just discovered last summer. It's actually another winery, surprise, surprise. But I have the opportunity to visit my one of my best friends' family's cottages in the Bedore Lakes in Cape Breton, usually once or twice a year at least, and they have a beautiful little spot there. The Bedore Lakes are a mixture of salt and fresh water, which is kind of cool. But me and my friend last year, we took our kids, and the grandparents actually watched the kids for a little bit while we went to a winery that was close by, and it's actually called Aniganish. It's very small little winery, but when we got there, I wasn't expecting anything, but it's like way up on the top of like a mountain, and the views from there are absolutely spectacular. You'll see a picture on the screen maybe in a minute, but the views of the Bedore Lakes just from this winery are amazing. So if you ever have the opportunity, the cottage I stay at is near the Dundee Resort, about 5 minutes from there. So it's in that area, about 25 minutes from there, and it's just stunning. So if you want any more information on that, certainly let us know. But I wanted to mention that. So. And obviously I have to say Nova Scotia is my province of residence. Jen's covered a lot here, but there's so much more to do. We can't cover it all today, but yeah, so just I hope you learned a little bit today about some new hidden gems that we love. I do have a couple questions before we move to PEI quickly. Well, the first one that came in here, and Jen, I think I'll put this to you, is what is the best month weather-wise to visit the Maritimes?
Oh, well, I think it depends on what you're looking. I mean, we certainly have, I consider Nova Scotia or the Maritimes or Atlantic Canada, I guess, in general, a four-season destination. But it just depends on what you're looking to do. Right here in Nova Scotia, like I said, we've got so many beaches, so it's a beach lover's paradise. In the winter, we've got skiing, we've got beautiful hiking trails. So yeah. I think it really just depends on what you're looking to do, but definitely all four seasons, there's something for everyone.
I would agree with that. And Steph, do you have anything to add to that? I mean, weather-wise, New Brunswick's very similar, but anything to add to that yourself?
Just expect to get every season in one day.
Oh, yes.
Up north,
Good point.
It seems to get a little bit more snow the more north you get, and we get a little bit more rain. So depending on the time of year that you're coming, just watch out for the weather, because it could change like in a second down 100%.
Here. 100%.
That's right.
For sure. I'm sure Leanne will touch on that later as well for Newfoundland.
Yeah, Newfoundland's a whole other story.
Someone else asked, and Jen, I'll put this to you. What is the best month for whale watching? I think it's probably between May and October, but do you?
Oh gosh, and I would probably say that same time frame. I don't know if I could specify any one single month, but definitely between May and October.
Those months, not the winter months.
I can jump in there, Shannon.
Okay, awesome.
Excuse me. From about July to September, they seem to be a little bit more active in the Bay of Fundy. And on our side anyways, on the New Brunswick side, anywhere that's down like St. Andrews, there's St. Stephen, there's St. Martin's, any of those little saint areas, there's whale watching tours all around there that are great throughout the whole summer, but definitely from like July to September is about the best months that you're going to get.
Yep.
And that's
awesome.
Funny, because St. Vincent here is probably the most popular spot for whales as well.
Cool.
There you go.
That's interesting.
Cool.
Yeah, amazing. Another question here, I'll get to, I think just one more and then we'll continue to PEI, is actually someone asked, I think I'm going to answer this one myself because I'm obviously the person that's been to the wineries the most. time for one winery in Wolfville during your visit, which one is best? I think that is a little bit different for everybody. I mean, Grand Pre is the oldest, and it's actually UNESCO World Heritage Site, so that's great to see. Again, the oldest. My personal favorite, I think, right now would be Benjamin Bridge, although Lightfoot Wolfville is certainly a close second, and I really love them all. But I think Benjamin Bridge, the views from there are spectacular. There's like a little hill you can climb down through the vineyards, and there's like picnic tables throughout, and you can just take your wine glass down and sip on it and just enjoy the views. And there's a little river in behind that people tube on actually as well. So yeah, it's hard to pick one, but I would say that right now Benjamin Bridge is probably my favorite. So we will continue on. Let's have Kimberly jump in and talk to us a bit about Prince Edward Island. I do believe, Kim, your husband has lived on the island for some time after high school, you said. And if you want to just start talking about that, she's not from PEI, but I thought she'd be best to represent PEI because her husband is from there, and I know she's been several times as well. Hey, Kim.
Hi, Shannon. Thanks. Yes, unfortunately, I've already been told I'm retiring there, so I consider myself a half citizen.
Nice.
But PEI will always be my home away from home. I visited yearly with my dad as a child. I grew to love it each and every time I went. Now that I have my own family, I think I really enjoy going back to the island. So arriving on the island, there is a few options. They do have an airport in Charlottetown, and then they do have two memorable options if you're arriving by car. So the first is the car ferry, where you would actually board in Caribou, Nova Scotia. It's about a 75-minute ferry ride to the Wood Island PEI. And then the second is the world famous Confederation Bridge, which connects Port or Carleton PEI to New Brunswick. So crossing into PEI is free, but there is a fee to pay when leaving. So out of the two options, most people tend to take the ferry over, take the first one, get to watch the sunset, a little bit of an adventure in itself. And then a lot of people end up taking the bridge home, as that is the cheaper option. I believe it's about $47 for a car. I want to say the ferry's in the 70s for a fee to get back. But they do offer different rates for trucks, RVs, bicycles, shuttle services, and pedestrian. But definitely taking the bridge home is a feat in itself. It's definitely a journey that everyone should try at least once.
I would agree with that, Kim. I've been to PEI a few times as well. I do have a question that came in here just related to what you were just speaking of, so I think it's a good time to ask that. Do you recommend booking the ferry ahead of time, or can you drive right on without an advance reservation?
Yeah, I'm one of those awkward people that's always early. So we were always about an hour prior to the first sailing. We've never, ever had a problem without a reservation. I did do some research there because of COVID. It is mainly a reservation based, as they do have limited numbers.
Yes.
They're asking if you're planning to kind of do a walk-up service and try to get on. There's no guarantees. You do have to arrive about an hour prior because there is extra health screening versus having an appointment. You do have a guaranteed space and a lot less processing time. So definitely, I think I would highly recommend it. They do have two ferries that kind of operate back and forth. So even if the first one's full, you can wait for the next. But most of us do want to get on that first one and get over there to get the most out of our day.
For sure. And I know that there's one ferry specifically that has Cow's ice cream on it. And a lot of people always have their fingers crossed that that's the ferry they're getting.
Yeah, no. And the ferry is great because they have a little cafeteria on board. You can go out. There's a few different levels to walk around, or if you want to sit inside. My kids thoroughly enjoy that experience of driving on the boat and eating and going for a walk.
Definitely part of the experience for sure. The bridge is cool too, so it's cool to take both in, go across on one and cross back home on the other. So
yeah.
All right, Kim, thanks for answering that one. You can continue. Thanks so much.
Awesome. So once you're on the island, the main city of Charlottetown's about 45 minutes away from the Wood Island area. So as you're driving through, you'll see the famous red dirt soil everywhere. You'll see freshly mowed farm fields for miles. And to be honest, a lot less potholes than us here in Nova Scotia. Yeah, so one of the things that I actually really enjoyed there is the farmers markets. They do have them set up on a lot of the driveways. They actually use the honor system there. So they say, potatoes are $2, leave it in the bucket, or if you need to make change, pay what you can. So to me, I can't think I can get anything closer to a local shopping option there. So the island itself is famous for potatoes and, of course, famous Anna Green Gables. This year they are actually offering the live musical, which is celebrating its 56th year in production. And then you can also do different excursions, dress-up theaters, the photo opportunity where you can wear the straw hat and the braids just like Anna Green Gables. And they also offer tours to the Lucy Maud Montgomery's home. This is actually where she was born and buried on the island. So some other famous things to do PEI is well known for is Cavendish. I know there's a lot of concerts, the beach and the boardwalk there. I think, Jen, we talked about this. You were lucky enough to see a few concerts.
Oh, and I just love Cavendish. I love PEI in general, like you, Kim. We were so fortunate growing up to, our parents took us over every single summer. But as an adult, one of the things that I most enjoy would be the Cavendish Beach Music Festival, and it's attracted some huge headliners over the past 10 years. So the most recent concert that we had seen over there was Eric Church, and probably my favorite. So
I've been as well, Jen, and I love it. Just the atmosphere during that time when the concert's on is awesome. It's busy, but it's just so much fun. I was there once and seen Kenny Chesney, Dixie Chicks,
yes.
and I think Little Big Town. So it was awesome. I loved it. It was just great. I definitely would highly recommend it when they bring it back again once COVID's kind of left us for good, hopefully.
Absolutely. It's just a fun environment.
I miss it for sure. Yeah.
Cavendish is always in the back of my memory because I lost my very first ring I bought myself there. So if anyone sees it and wants to give it back.
Oh my gosh. What's it look like?
Yes. First stone. Yeah. But no, past that, something we also did every year was the Sandspit Amusement Park. And then they also have the Shining Waters Water Park there as well. Up in Summerside or towards Summerside, they actually had the Ripley's Believe It or Not Museum. So we've done that a few times. And the famous Cow's Creamery Shopping Museum has the best ice cream. Also to support local, I think that I would visit the local dirt shirt shop. So these are located in different areas throughout the island, but they actually dye clothing with the famous red dirt soil. So to me, I don't think you can't get a more unique souvenir to bring home for people.
Oh, for sure. I've definitely been to that shop as well. Kim, I had one other question come in just related to something we've already talked about here just briefly, but someone's wondering, what is Cow's ice cream?
Yeah, so the Cow's Ice Cream is actually a local creamery that started in PEI. They actually started, I think, what their first one was on the boardwalk in Cavendish. I think they have 11 across the country now. They actually added a Cow's Creamery ice cream shop in Beijing, China. So essentially, it started as a creamery. They do have just outside Charlottetown, an eatery, and they do have tours where you can watch fresh butter and ice cream be made as well. And then something they kind of stumbled upon was their clothing line is fairly popular. It's all cow-related themes, and some of their clothes are quite comical. So along with the good ice cream, the clothes are pretty memorable as well.
And the ice cream is really good. It's very creamy, as it says in the name. And it's really good. There's one on the Halifax waterfront in the summer as well. But yeah, it's definitely unique to PEI and definitely something you need to take in if you go.
Yeah, we were chatting. That new one this year is actually a Nanaimo Bar Ice Cream. And
oh,
I'm a bar lover, so I'm like, we're going to try that one this year.
And it tastes the best when you're on PEI too, I think.
Yeah, and a lot of people stop at the store out there because they do have a huge cow figurine that most people like to take pictures with and kids enjoy. So it's definitely a place to stop.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
all right, thanks so much.
Oh, no, awesome. So some hidden facts and gems for me, I think that I would offer. So the province it's very small, but has 23 provincial parks. So I don't think you'll ever have to go to the same place twice. My favorite that we did last time was the Cabot Beach Provincial Park. We enjoy going at low tides because our kids are a little bit younger. So we find they're still able to swim, but then they can kind of walk along the ocean floor, collect shells. But definitely another thing we enjoy doing is lighthouse sightseeing. So we do a lot of drives around to look for the one of many lighthouses on the island, and we've actually been able to find some really scenic areas and uncrowded beaches. Also visiting there, they do have the only drive-in on the island, which is in Brackley at the Brackley Drive-In. And we can't forget the golf. PEI is world known for golf. So from beginner to novice, definitely it's a dreamer's paradise. You can actually stay at Crowbush, which is offered by Rod Resorts. And then it is actually located on the Crowbush at Links Golf Course there. My husband actually was there a few years ago for a work trip, and they thoroughly enjoyed it as well. He can't golf, but he tried. He tried his best. Yeah. So moving on, one of our favorite things to do, driving to Summerside, is stopping in the town of Kensington. That's where my husband actually lived his last time before moving home. So his favorite thing there was the Frosty Treat. So they offer a lot of local foods, also known for their ice cream there as well. Their motto is drive in, not drive by. So we always do make a quick stop there. The kids thoroughly enjoy it. I think one of the things I didn't really appreciate as a child, but I definitely learned to now, is the camping gem on the island. We visit the Marco Polo campground. I did it yearly as a child. We had a lot of fun. I actually looked at it recently, and it's bigger and better than ever. They have a huge water zone park, theme nights for kids, exercise areas, a doggy park, arcade. I had to camp old style, but now they do offer cabins. They have sleep in a chunk truck, which is kind of a PEI's version of a glamping. Also, you can stay at the Marco Polo Inn close by. There's so much to do on site, but it is close to Cavendish, so a lot of those tourist attractions are not far away, but it does book up quite far in advance. So definitely you might be looking into 2023 if you're looking for Marco Polo.
Yeah. Yeah, for sure, Kim. I've been to Marco Polo. I haven't been to Marco Polo, but I've tried to book it for this summer actually, and it's, well, I'm not, first of all, I'm not a tenter, so that's not an option for me. But so the cabins really are my only option if I was to go there, so that's my own fault. But maybe I'll have to book for 2023 now, though.
Yeah,
it
no,
looks amazing though for the kids.
Yeah, it's one of those places that there's a lot to see, but I don't think if you wanted to leave for a few days, there's enough to keep you busy.
Yeah.
One of the good things about PEI that some people like and some people dislike is the old school vibe. So they do kind of operate on the old things aren't open on Sundays. A lot of the malls aren't open. A lot of the businesses aren't open, but we actually like going when we go by car because we can go to the old antique flea markets, the yard sales, and the auction. So one of the things that we thoroughly used to enjoy keeping up with the old school vibe was the glass pop bottles. So up until 2010, PEI actually had a ban on tin pop cans. So they actually drank out of the bigger glass ones. So that was one of the memories as a kid, stocking up on the glass bottles to bring home, as well as our friends on the island always enjoyed if we snuck them a few cans from here and there. But I think my last hidden gem that a lot of people just kind of drive by as they're hitting the bridge on their way home would be the Border Carleton exit. So this is the last stop before you would hit the Confederation Bridge, and it has truck stop for gas. It also has a really nice boardwalk area, so you can stop at the How Bazaar stores. I think there's a Cow's Creamery there, kind of do all those last minute things if you weren't able to fit them in. And then you also can walk around. They have a park to the side, which has a few playgrounds for the kids. They have an ice cream hut there, and you can take some really good selfies of the Confederation Bridge in the background.
Yeah, Kim, I totally agree with stopping there. We always do as well. It's a nice little boardwalky area with shops and a little playground for the kids just before you hop back on the road to Nova Scotia and New Brunswick. So thanks so much, Kim, for that overview of PEI. It's an awesome place to visit, like all the other provinces here. But now let's move to Newfoundland. I've had the absolute pleasure of staying in the St. John's area myself, visiting my team there, Ashley and Leanne. But quickly before we jump to Leanne, I wanted to have Jennifer speak quickly about her experience in Newfoundland because she's been. Jen, can you tell us quickly what your experience was before Leanne starts?
Of course, Shannon. So I've only been to the west coast of Newfoundland, but I can't say enough about it. We had taken the ferry from Nova Scotia to Port aux Basques, which was about a 6.5-hour ride. And over the course of a few days, we explored the city of Corner Brook, beautiful little city, and we got to take in the breathtaking scenery through Grossmore National Park. Our trip was actually a little bit rushed, so I definitely can't wait to go back to that area specifically, but I also can't wait to go over and experience the east coast of Newfoundland, and I guess I'm hoping that Leanne might offer to show me around a bit.
Yes, Jennifer, you and Shannon, you've both only seen the very tip of the iceberg on what Newfoundland and Labrador has to offer, and we can't wait to have you all over for a visit and we can go on a real adventure.
Soon.
Let's
just say soon.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm happy to be here today to talk about my home province of Newfoundland, and I could probably do an hour-long show just myself on Newfoundland and then Labrador, but I'm going to share today with some of my favorite spots to explore. So to kick it off, we have 3 main airports and 3 ferry terminals that will help you get onto the island of Newfoundland. The main airport being St. John's International, and that is located here on the East Coast where I'm currently located today. Port aux Basques Ferry Terminal is located on the West Coast, and that's if you want to drive here yourself from North Sydney, Nova Scotia. So many people who come to Newfoundland to explore make one big mistake, and that's underestimating the time and distance it takes to get from one end of the island to the other. And in my time working in the hotel industry here, that's one complaint I would hear over and over again, that they never got to see everything that they had planned. So if you don't have 2 to 3 weeks to spend on vacation here, I would suggest to break up your vacation by region and visit spots multiple times. Although there are many more attractions and scenic spots to take in, and I will go through them at the end, here are a few that I have the pleasure of visiting. So we'll start off here on the East Coast on the Avalon Peninsula, and this is where I currently reside, and it's where the capital of St. John's is. It's where you'll find the famous Jelly Bean Row houses, Signal Hill, and famous George Street. Anyone who has looked into coming to Newfoundland has certainly heard of these things and placed them on their to-do list. St. John's is a tourist-friendly destination with a metro bus system, hop-on, hop-off trolley system in the summer, and cabs to get you around. If you do plan on doing things on your own terms and rent a car, I highly suggest booking flights around car availability. Due to a short tourism season here and high insurance costs, we don't always have enough cars to go around for everyone. But by renting a car or driving here yourself, you will also have the ability to take day trips from St. John's to nearby communities, East Coast Hiking Trail System, or Cape Spear, the most easterly point in North America. And you can catch a breathtaking sunrise or sunset to make your vacation memorable. Now, Shannon, I know you've loved visiting Cape Spear when you get here because it is a short drive from the office.
Yes.
Have you ever had the pleasure of catching a sunrise or sunset?
I have. Actually, the last time I visited, I got up, I think it was the last time I visited. Maybe it was 2019 fall, maybe. I don't remember now. It seems so long ago since we've traveled. But yes, I went end of day and did catch the sun set, actually. It's just amazing up there. You know, it's one of those places where you can just take it all in. There's a picture there on the screen of me that I think that you'll see in a moment with some views of that area. It's just breathtaking. It's just, you can see as far as you can out in the ocean and the waves crashing, and there's little walk trails, and it's one of those places where you can just sit and just take everything in. It's just amazing.
Yeah, for sure.
And I know there's other places in Newfoundland too that are similar to that, but and I also get to Signal Hill. I've been up there, and there's some phenomenal views there as well of the city. Love it up there. And I've taken in an iceberg as well, I think once. Leanne, what was the little village that I would have went to a few years back, which is just out past the airport, I think?
Yeah, I think I sent you to Petty Harbor, and I sent you to Tor Bay.
Yes, yes.
Yeah, so Petty Harbor is closer to Cape Spear.
Yeah.
That's where famous Alan Doyle from Great Big Sea is from. So a lot of people go down there and check that out.
Nice.
But Tor Bay, Flat Rock, that area gets a lot of icebergs come in that you'll see in my presentation. But
and I always really love looking for icebergs when I'm flying in.
Yeah,
it's kind of cool.
Yeah.
But yeah, to see them in person, you can't even describe it. So yeah,
No, it's
thanks,
unreal.
Leanne. Yeah.
Yeah, no problem. So a quick tip that I would suggest from working in the hospitality industry here is to take advantage of the knowledge of your hotel staff, the waiters, waitresses that you'll encounter, as hospitality is our strong suit, and we want to make sure you have the best experience. And everyone has little hidden gems to let the tourists know. So icebergs and whale watching are something you'll find here along the coast. You'll also catch glimpses of puffins as well. And like anyone, I do take my province for granted, and I don't take near enough pictures of these things and enjoy the beauty of the province. So I want to take you heading west across the island, and our first stop is going to be in the town of Dildo. So Dildo is just 1 hour drive from St. John's, and it's a quaint little fishing village with an eye-catching name. It even caught the eye of Jimmy Kimmel in 2019 when he was deemed the honorary mayor of the town. And they gave them their very own Hollywood Hills sign as well. This town is great for exploring and taking a walk around. They also have a beautiful brewery and museum in town that attract a lot of tourists and staycationers alike. Come here, learn how they got their name, and refuse to change it. So we'll just catch up on the pictures there, and you'll see the brewery and the museum and Captain Dildo himself, which a lot of people find funny that are from away, but it really has a unique name, and they have a trading post and everything. It's a really cool town to walk around and explore. And if you go to Hollywood, you'll actually see a sign pointing to dildo as well that Jimmy Kimmel put up on the Hollywood Boulevard.
Cool.
It's a very scenic town, especially on a beautiful day, if we get that. So the next up on my hidden gems list is Lumsden. This town has a beach that you would think you would only find in Cuba. Although the Atlantic Ocean here is well below my swimmable temperatures, you will find people of all ages splashing around in the waves. You can get to this white sandy beach from Gander, Newfoundland. It's about an hour-and-a-half drive from Central. And there are multiple sandy beaches along the Gander Bay Loop that you can take in. Lots of places to stay with Airbnbs, bed and breakfasts, and campgrounds along the way. I spent the day here last summer with my family while on vacation back in Central. And we got blessed with a warm, sunny day and took our portable barbecue with us. And we just enjoyed the full day, and you can park on the beach. So the barbecue was not far from the waters. And we will certainly be back to explore more of the beaches along the way. So next stop on my list is Grand Falls, Windsor. This is my hometown. It's perfectly centered. It's our catchphrase for the town, and it's smack dab in the middle. Growing up, you never really appreciate what your community has to offer, but I never really appreciate what our community has for young families. And to take, what you can do is to take in the salmon ladder pictured here. You can watch the salmon migrate and jump the falls. And you can also take in the Mary March Museum to learn about the Beothuk culture. This town, when I was growing up, was known for its salmon festival, and in recent years, it's been scaled back tremendously. But I've had the pleasure of seeing such bands as Kiss, the Eagles, Blake Shelton, and many, many more play the stage of this town of only 20,000 people. Another great attraction just west of Grand Falls, Windsor is Rafting Nl, where you can take in whitewater rafting as a guided tour through the Exploits River. And I haven't personally done this since my early teens, but I do intend to go back. They offer fabulous chalet rentals year-round and snowmobile rentals in the winter. And these are pictures of, I went with some neighbors, and when you jump off the falls and right into the rapids, it's scary, but you have to do it.
You're so brave.
I was 15 at the time, so nothing mattered at that time. I'd be a little bit more hesitant then. Now. So we'll keep heading west and into the Humber Valley. This is a highlight location for many travelers before you take your way into Grossmoor National Park. The West Coast is for year-round outdoor enthusiasts, and the Humber River has lots to boast, including tubing during the summer. You should never find yourself bored any time of the year here. And if you like snow and outdoor activities, the West Coast is for you. With fantastic snowmobile trails, rentals, and guided tours, you'll be able to take in the winter beauty that Newfoundland has to offer. Marble Mountain Ski Resort, located here, is where you'll be able to find ski and snowboard activities, among other things such as, oh my goodness, as in zipline course and the aerial park, and you'll be able to see Steady Brook Falls. You can do ziplining year-round, winter or summer, which will give you the best of both worlds. And the West Coast is basically an outdoor playground in its own. So get your group together, and you can stay in one of the spectacular Humber Valley chalets and make it your home away from home, your home base for exploring Grossmoor and the Humber Valley area. Personally, I haven't taken in much of the West Coast as I should have by now, and it is sure a bucket list item for me to explore more thoroughly. But no driving time from St. John's will be at least 7 hours on a good day, and another hour plus to make it up to the start of Grouse Moor Park. So if you're planning on doing just the West Coast, I would suggest flying into Deer Lake. You can fly in there year round, or Stephenville in the summer, or take the ferry across to Port aux Basques. So this province has something for every traveler, and you had to be prepared for long drives through wooded areas, potential for moose sightings, lost cell service, and have your belly ready for a heaping plate of fries, dressing and gravy, and the special pineapple crush. There are so many gems along our highways, but it's worth packing your hiking boots for and just making your way off the TCH path and explore. Give yourself time to take in Newfoundland and Labrador and try our unique foods like moose sausage and cod tongues when they're in season. And I promise you, you will not be disappointed. Since I couldn't share all of my must-see places into the show, here are a few more pictures I've taken over the years on my hiking and driving adventures. So as you can see here, this picture is taken in Placentia, Newfoundland, which is the closest port to the Argentia ferry that you can also take from North Sydney. These pictures were taken 1 hour apart around noon. We hit Castle Hill and it was thick with fog. We went down to the Three Sisters pub for lunch and we came back up and it was a beautiful day. So you have to be patient with the weather here and always pack, especially when you're driving yourself, pack a day bag because you might run into rain, you might run into muddy trails and stuff like that. Just always be prepared.
Leanne, I'm just going to have to interrupt you for a sec because I think we need to end the presentation here because we have another one to skip off to. So we're just going to miss a couple photos there, but oh my gosh, such a beautiful, beautiful province, just gorgeous. And I know anybody can contact Leanne directly, stjohns@sallifications.com to find out any other information. Thank you so much, Leanne. That was amazing. So we're just going to end it out here. Steph's going to end us off and Jennifer. And thank you so much to all our viewers. It's been a great show.
Thanks, Shannon and Leanne, and thanks to all our viewers for joining us today. If you've posted a question and it didn't get answered, Ashley and Mia will be remaining on the line to respond to any questions that we may have missed. Keep in mind, where permitted, our storefront locations are open. Please refer to our website at selloffvacations.com for the current hours and operations of your local store. Alternatively, agents are available to assist you by phone until 9 p.m. And you can reach out to one of our Atlantic Canada experts at 1-877-735-5633. And you can also contact Jennifer, Kimberly, Leanne, or myself directly. Our contact information should be up on your screens now.
I also want to remind everyone that we will be back next week for another presentation. I encourage you to visit our website, selloffvacations.com, and sign up for our weekly newsletter. This newsletter will keep you up to date on our current promotions and will also have all the information on our upcoming presentations. Please join us next week, Wednesday, May 5th, when we'll be back talking about Top Hotels Mexico for Cinco de Mayo. We hope you'll join us again. Thank you so much and have a great day.